Hell yeah.
So,
Is it
first of all,
Tuesday?
thank you for taking time to chat with me. Really enjoyed the film, really enjoyed Aftermath as well. So obviously, as I just said, this is your second collaboration together. What do you like most about working with each other?
Well, I'll start by saying that Dylan is maybe an actor's dream come true in that he actually listens. And if you're performing in a scene, despite constantly dishing out amazing choices and uh, performing at such a high level, he also receives what you do in a way that makes it actually feel organic, like you're discovering something take to take. The only difficulty is that he smells fairly bad. And once you move past that, you're able to bask in his creative essence that I think is very productive and incredibly satiating as an artist.
Somehow Mason has a jawline that wraps all around his head. So you actually can't catch a bad angle on him, which is really frustrating being apart from him because if I don't fabricate my jawline with a chin strap beard, it doesn't exist. Generational white guy incest family will do that to you. So
That's what it's like working together. In case you're wondering.
no, I mean obviously we're also friends outside of working on projects together. So like I think look, anytime you have an opportunity to work with someone that you actually know and have banter with and can like hang out with is a good time always. And I think it just like I've never people talk a lot about chemistry in movies and yada yada yada, but my thing is there's never been a moment where being a friend didn't result in a better performance for any type of genre of movie, right? Because you're just more comfortable in general. So I think it allows you a lot more space on set. And obviously, when this came through and it was kind of more of a buddy cop idea, I was like, well, I think that's perfect for Mason and I because I think we have that shorthand already, and I think we can really make something fun. So
Yeah, absolutely. And in Under Fire, you guys played those allies, those buddies, but in Aftermath, you guys played adversaries. Did you find one dynamic more interesting to play with than the other?
You would think that Aftermath would be easier because Dylan is so antagonistic, but no, in terms of ease, I think Dylan is such an intuitive and thoughtful performer. Neither was more difficult or easier than the other. Under Fire just led to more space in which we could investigate the characters because I feel like one thing, not to indirectly compliment myself, but one thing we do as performers is we push each other and we listen to each other and try and elevate the performance through camaraderie and through discourse. And I feel like we were able to, by virtue of the narrative for Under Fire, leave everything on the table. And if one of us had an idea or if one of us was going down a path in terms of creative choices, it was so easy to follow Dylan down because it's like I trust you. You're also incredibly collaborative in that it's never about you. It's always about the narrative and about these two characters. So no, I don't know if one was easier or more difficult. I didn't spend much time.
yeah, I'd say we just had more screen time together in this one too.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what's fucked up about? Sorry, I don't know if I can swear. Aftermath it was probably comparable screen time, but I was only shooting that movie for 5 days.
Yeah, in
I
and
was
out.
we did that whole thing in 5 days. But Dylan had, so much time we really got to know his character, and I was just struggling to remember those lines because
Your monologues, your 10 monologues, you mean?
when
Uh,
stop talking. He's just
your 10 monologues is insane. Um, yeah, I don't know if anyone was easier. Here's the one thing I do know comes easy to us, and it's action together. Like that works because we figured that out on Aftermath. And then we were able to figure it out in this one too. And I think we had a pretty clear view of like dynamics going into this one, which was a lot it was a lot like in the aftermath we were obviously like hero villain energy and it was I think it was more competitive in the script, right? It had to seem competitive in the script. Whereas this one's so collaborative, like Mason was saying, that it was just like when it's like that and you're going at it as a team, it opens the doors up and creates a very fun environment on set. So I would work again in an action movie with you, Mason, any day.
Well, great, because we've got six down the pike, and
Hey, I would see them, but I do have to ask. Obviously, you've worked with both of the Sprouses now. Which one do you like better?
that's an impossible. Dylan,
I
no,
really like
Dylan
working
has.
with both more.
You
I
know what? Are we talking about professionally? Because I only worked with Dylan on a movie that was then stricken from the internet as if it never happened. So
Oh wait, are you talking about Moonshot or are you talking about
shot was gone. It was on and gone in the same amount of time it was out.
I forgot
And
about that.
I
I
actually
know.
love Moonshot. I thought it was really funny and really charming.
No,
Who's
But
Moonshot's great.
had a great time shooting it, but that was also like 6 years ago. So Under Fire is the movie we're promoting. So I'll say that's the cream of the crop.
It
yeah,
wasn't six
absolutely.
years ago, was it?
And you've kind of touched upon this, but both of you are relatively new to the action genre. In the past, you've worked in a bunch of different genres, but I think you're making a good case for yourself, both as like up and coming action stars. So why do you like working in this genre?
I think um I think Mason and I both have this about us where we're both kind of geeky, and the content that we do like tends to be like action animation a lot of the times. And so getting the chance to be able to utilize some of the fun stuff that we visualize or like even in our own preferences is something that's really cool to try and do. Like I said this I think the last time too, but like on Aftermath. But if you had asked me whether or not I thought I would do action, I would have never probably thought someone would hire me for it just because I was always more of a silly man, which is, like I don't ever really think I was that was my trajectory. But as soon as I did it and I realized it was that blending of both like the very kind of visceral mental aspect that goes into acting as well as the blending of like the physicality and the physical performance of an action movie or anything of the kind of same likeness. I just realized I loved it. And it's the same way that I used to love playing with airsoft guns with my brother, or like going outside and fighting with swords. And, like that's the kind of the same energy that I think Mason and I, at least when we work together, we bring we're pretending these sticks are swords and we're fighting like we're little kids. Like that's the same energy we bring to it, and I think it's really fun to do those kind of films in
For
general.
little kid, I still do that to this day. That's why this movie works as well as it does. I feel like you're beating around the bush here. We're big dorks. Uh,
Yeah.
it's incredibly cathartic to perform in a way that you think about doing in your day to day, but obviously don't due to social norms. So if I have an opportunity to work with someone who is excited about physicality and the productivity of combat and showcasing action, then I'm like, this is match made in heaven. It's been two movies now, and I feel like we found our rhythm on Aftermath, and Under Fire is just like a heightened version of that, where I get to engage in fight choreography or thrilling action set pieces with someone who I not only trust but am impressed by every day. So
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked a lot about the action in this film, but I think um, something that's important to note is that there are a lot of comedic elements in this film too. Did you find it easy to, work these elements in between that action?
For sure. I mean, I think we came into this with I think a little bit more of an intention to try and resemble some of the buddy cop action movies that we both and subsequently Steven as well, our director, also just all loved, right? I think a movie like this benefits by having comedic moments. I actually think all movies do to a degree that, enjoy a little bit of levity. But I think this was particularly facilitating to it. And so I know, on Aftermath, a lot of the kind of ADR notes I remember hearing, or like the lines that I would get in ADR, were implying a sort of levity that I know personally I feel like I didn't really bring to the performance as it was written on the page. So going into this one, I think we both looked at each other and were like, let's make this fun as hell. And we just gave ourselves a lot of space to improv, and like big props to Stephen Miller, who is a funny guy himself and also is really talented at what he does. And he gave us the go ahead, which was made for a very fun time. I think like if we were to actually have a blooper reel for this movie, it'd probably be cool.
Wild. They might. They might release that. You never know. DVD? Do they still do DVD bonus features?
Well, I do want to end with one more question. So, Mr. Gooding, you've been shot multiple times in Under Fire. You've been stabbed multiple times in Scream. What is your secret to immortality?
Green vegetables and homework.
Absolutely.
It's funny because, like, in Under Fire, obviously, you have the tension of a gun, and as theater rules permit, if you have guns, you have to eventually shoot them, and so it makes sense that we would get riddled with bullets at one point or another. The Scream aspect in it is really a decision that was always above me. I was supposed to die in the fifth one, and then I didn't. And
Spoiler alert, dude. What the hell?
it's just a lot of ab work. You just work out your abs at the end of every workout.
Catch the knife in your abs.
That's what, yeah. Nice try, baby.
Break it in half.
I don't know. I have a penchant for being turned into a human pincushion, I suppose.
Well, I look forward to seeing more of both of what you do. I hope to see more collaborations from the two of you. And thank you again for your time. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Very much, Sean.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Gone.